Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Yarns with Andy. Today's not going to be a typical episode. I'm handing over the reins over that side. I'm getting interviewed today, apparently. So I've been told. So I'll officially hand over to Blair, who's going to interview me. How was that for an intro?
That's good.
Blair's a superstar in the construction industry. Apparently, he keeps telling me that not many people know who he is, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Heaps of people know who he is. Blair's worked for a demo company for a long time, Henderson Demolition. Moved on, worked at KO for a while, back to Hendy. And yeah, he's a bit of a legend in the industry. A lot of people know him.
Oh, I don't know if I'd go legend.
You don't know about legend. Very passionate about sustainability, waste management, passionate about efficiency, as far as I know. Have I missed anything, Blair?
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Can I hand over to you now? Because I don't know what's going on in this episode. I'm clueless, mate.
I'm not sure how this is going to go either.
Right, let's give it a go.
The reason why we're here today is actually because I suspect a significant portion of your audience doesn't know that much about you.
I don't think as well. I mean, yeah. People think I'm a fucking podcast host full time, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not.
You're not a full-time podcast?
I do have a day job, Blair. You don't have a day job, right?
I know that, but your audience doesn't.
Yeah, true that.
So I thought we should change that.
Yeah, cool. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you coming on and interviewing me, which is quite cool.
So to start off with, Andy,
Yo.
tell us,
Yes.
how did you become a planner?
Really interesting story. So I actually didn't want to become a planner, but I wanted to get into Formula One. That was a dream. I worked my entire engineering towards building a single-seater, open-wheel, open cockpit Formula SAE, that's what it's called. A basic racing car with a motorsport engine to actually compete in a competition in Europe, and I failed. Epically failed.
It's a hard field to get into.
Mate, yeah, I kind of set up the team in university, but didn't really succeed in getting sponsorships, and I still have a prototype design stored in my G drive, which is, so if anybody wants it, I'm happy to share it. Work that we did about 14 years ago. It's probably outdated now, but but I spent all my weekends on racetracks, in Dubai Autodrome. I used to work in a go-kart track in Marland.
Yep.
Racing was life.
What attracted you to Formula One?
44 for life, Lewis Hamilton, inspiration. I wanted to be
Hamilton already in Formula One when you were attracted to it?
I've been following Hamilton's career for a long time.
Okay.
So anyways, inspiration, man. Like that guy's myth, that guy's legend. But seriously, think about it though. What I'm doing today is not very different from being a race engineer on a Formula One racetrack.
Not at all.
If I was a race engineer on a Formula One racetrack, hopefully would have been for Lewis Hamilton, but should have been. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. But I'd be managing change in seconds and milliseconds.
Yeah.
Here, as a project control professional, all I'm doing is managing change in days with a larger data set, with a tangible structure being built.
Projects
As opposed to
bigger, more complex.
different challenges.
But same process applied.
Same process. In a racetrack, you've got way too many moving parts, and your strategy is determined by not just your own strategy, but by the other drivers as well. Here, it's kind of the same thing where you've got multiple different players influencing the build of an entire building, which could be your design elements, your project management elements, project managers, construction companies for me. And I couldn't see another career path until 2008, GFC hit. I graduated, and like literally I was out there looking for work, boom, GFC. And mate, no company had hired me. So what happened, I think one day morning, I was pretty depressed. Like, fuck, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm in Dubai, I'm living on mom and dad's money, and I need to find a job very quickly, overseas. My 21st birthday was coming up. Man, fun fact, I was an engineer before I was 21 years old, which is interesting. So I wanted to throw a massive party. whatnot. And my mate said, "Hey, you're doing nothing. Why don't you just come for a campus interview? Do you know what a campus interview is? Like where companies come into the university to hire students."
Yep.
And I said, "Oh, mate, I'm bored shitless. Might as well go attend a campus interview." So I went and gave like a written test.
Yep.
Cool. Then they called us for a group interview.
Yep.
So in the group interview, when anybody said left, I said right. I stood up and I was heard. I had nothing to lose, bro. In my head, I had nothing to lose.
Fair.
And it's not like I really wanted the job anyways, right? So then they said, "Oh, you're selected for the final interview." And I went, "What? For what? What job? I know it's an oil and gas company, but why did I get chosen for the final interview? That doesn't even make sense." So I went and sat down, and the guy there said, "Hey, do you want to become a planner?" I said, "What does that mean?" I don't know what that means. And he very aptly said, like I think he launched my career for me, to be honest. He said, you've got two things that we don't often see in young engineers. You've got social skill and you've got analytical skill combined, which means you can communicate what you see in your analysis very clearly and effectively.
Yeah.
I went, "Cool. Will you pay me money?"
Sign me
They're
up.
like, "Yep." I was surprised that my first job in Dubai was making, as a graduate, I was making about 8,000 dirhams a month. It was like on point. That was a lot of money for me back then, tax free. That was like 8,000 dirhams a month. I know that equates to about 2,000 something dollars, but a lot of money for me.
Fair chunk of change.
Yeah.
So now
That's
that
where it
you've
started.
been a planner for
Yes.
a
Project
number
control
of
professional.
years.
I'll correct you there.
Yep.
Project control professional.
Project controls professional.
Yes. Project controller. Yeah.
Project controls.
I don't only draw lines on a piece of paper, Blair. I do more than that.
Now that you've been in project controls for a significant amount of time,
Yes.
describe what project controls are to people who, and let's face it, the New Zealand construction industry is not particularly good at project controls. Explain what they are and why they should be used.
Okay. It's a very interesting question, right? Oh, by the way, I haven't prepped for any of this. I don't even know what questions to come my way, so I'm winging it here. This is good. It's really great. So project controls, what is it, right? Okay. Very simply put, it's answering 5 questions at any given point in time. I'll really simplify that. Yep. Who is doing what, where, when, and how much of it? Like, that's project controls. Yeah. Once you've collated all of that information, you have a base set of information to know, who's doing what, where, when, and how much of it, which means then you can assess the risk, the cost, everything else that falls out of it. So drawing lines on a piece of paper is just one aspect of my job, but helping people understand who's doing what, where, when, and help people make effective decisions, data-driven decisions. Be very specific about that, not emotionally driven ones, which we're very good at doing in the construction industry, right? I'm very passionate about data-driven decisions. That's what I do for a living. That's what project controls means to me, at least.
And how do you help projects?
How do I help?
Companies do exactly that.
So
give us an example.
An example? Okay, I can do that. Like a real life example?
Yeah, absolutely. Real life, or a hypothetical if you want, but I'm sure you've got real life examples.
I've got a few. Yeah, I've got a few.
So
on a project you and I worked on as well in Auckland Airport. But,
that was a good one.
That was a good one. I'd rather talk about Com Bay, actually. That's okay.
Yeah.
Commercial Bay, yeah. When I stepped into Com Bay, there was a program.
That's Commercial Bay.
Commercial Bay, sorry.
For those who aren't abbreviating at home.
I'm just so used to calling it Com Bay. My wife calls it Com Bay now. My kids call it Com Bay. Mate, all these things that projects do to you, funny. Okay. I've lost my chain of thought, Blair.
I'm sorry, mate.
Commercial Bay. Right. When I got pulled into that job straight after Auckland Airport, there was a version of a program available, right? And
why not?
There was a version
was a version.
A version of a program.
Right.
Yeah. But it didn't necessarily reflect reality on site on paper.
Why not?
I don't think the estimate and the design information was necessarily translated into the program really, really well at that particular point in time.
Yeah.
That was my honest professional assessment at
Yeah.
that point. And the status update information, and there was no engagement from the planning team with the on-site teams to actually understand what was going on, the methodology that the project managers had in their head. What was the logistics plan? How does that translate into effective work on site?
Yeah.
Where, how many crews do you have? Who's working where, doing what,
Yeah.
when, installing or building how much of it? So it was quite simple for me in my head. Like all I had to do is I just had to get back to bare basics.
Yeah.
Yep. Back to the design. Right?
Yeah. What did that look like?
I had my challenges. I went to the quantity surveying team at that time and said, hey, I need to know the steel piece count by zone per floor for the entire tower. I went, oh yeah, I'll give it to you, mate. Yeah. Come see me in a couple of days. Yep. So, it was broken down by, the floor plate was broken down by 2 zones, and then there was the core, which was the next portion of it. Which is, like, okay, cool. Just by zone, I needed by zone per floor. Yeah. Because we were, I think, only 20%, 30% of the way through building the steel structure.
Yeah.
At that time. A week later, never got it. Got really frustrated. I said, nah. Got one of my planners, got the 3D BIM model. And I said, okay, what you do? Count it if you have to piece by piece by piece from this 3D model, translate it, right? I don't think anybody could see the value of that information because it was really simply in my head, if you don't measure, you don't manage. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was understanding enough to establish a baseline with a clear sequence of events because there's 2 tower cranes, if you remember. You're going back in time, aren't you?
Establishing a baseline like that is quite a lot of work effort, though, right?
Necessary.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
But
I mean, in my head, mandatory, but yeah, mandatory.
yeah,
You're saying establishing the baseline is the most important thing. In my head, mandatory.
It's mandatory. I agree, it should be mandatory, but it is a lot of effort, and I guess the people who are doing the work on site, particularly at the coalface, aren't going to recognize the value of that until it's delivering value, right? So how did you manage to win over the delivery team, the people you were trying to get information from?
Yeah.
Right, to get that baseline, because without it...
Yeah. So the baseline we were parallelly developing while the project was ongoing at that point.
Yeah.
There was a version of a baseline. I'm not saying there was no program at all. That'd be wrong of me to say. There was something there. What we did is we actually introduced a suite of reporting, and I went and turned around and said we're going to have something called a project control cycle, and we're going to update the program once a week. Right?
Yep.
Guess how much a buy-in I got for that?
More than just last planner.
Don't tell me to fuck up. Like, why do you want to do this? I'm like, nah, you've got to status update the program once a week. I'm not capturing change events otherwise.
Yeah.
We're not understanding where the critical paths shifted, where you need additional resource, for what? Nothing. You don't understand fuck all if you do it once a month. It's too late. Way too late. Right?
Yeah.
Especially with a complex project like Combat where your LDs are like crazy. We're like, nah, doing it once a week. Right? No buying. So we created this suite of beautiful reports, right?
Yeah.
And all I started doing was pushing the critical path to the right.
Yep.
Nobody gave me information, right? Like, yep, you lost a week in a week, buddy. Yep. First week, he didn't care. Second week, on-site team, started paying a little bit of attention. Third week, they went, how can we lose 3 weeks in 3 weeks?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, here's the critical path. You didn't do anything in the critical path. Look out of the window. You can see we've done this work. Hang on. Come spend half an hour with me, please. I will change your life. That's all I had to say.
Yeah.
All right? And then the first 30 minutes that the on-site team spent with us, with my whole team and me, they were just going, okay, this guy's just collecting information.
Yeah.
The second week, they came back. They said, oh, we have to. We don't have a choice here. But that's when we started helping them add value, articulating what the critical path is, where they needed to put the efforts and energy in the upcoming week, right?
Yeah.
Ensuring that they have the resources to be able to deliver that, ensuring that their logistics plans are all set, mobilized, ready to go. they've got crane time allocated, they've got the crews allocated, right?
Yeah.
Then as time progressed, we went on further. Now you've got change events coming in. Let's understand how the change events impact your timeline. Does that then need notice a delay? What do you need to do that? Like, we'll handle all of that, right? It's just processing a timeline, sending some paperwork off somewhere. So that's the easy bit.
Yeah.
Getting the information is the hard bit. So those meetings then became so critical, and they just became so valuable that we started doing them as rhythm every single week. And then we got into automation at the back end of it, which is quite cool.
And when do you think the aha moment happened for the team on site?
This is what Fletcher's gave me an award for, actually. You know that entire tower that they built?
Yeah.
I condensed the entire tower build right from when it's called a timescale logic diagram. Right?
Yep.
I'd always known the concept. I've just never found a perfect job to implement it on.
Yeah.
And we communicated the methodology on who's doing what, where, when. Not how much on that paper, but who's doing what, where, when. The four things, the four critical things, on one A3 sheet of paper for the whole tower. Okay, so that's steel install when the facade's going up, following and chasing behind when you're actually starting your fit out cycle below. I mean, there was a bit more we did. By doing that, we'd actually identified that we were going to be 6 months late, and we came up with a plan to actually mitigate the 6 month loss in time.
And you're successful?
Huh?
And you were successful?
We didn't mitigate the whole 6 months, but we mitigated a portion of it. And that was a group effort, not just me. Mine was just putting it on a piece of paper and articulating the problem, right? And it was a group effort where that's where I learned what a jump lift was.
A jump lift?
Yeah. Do you know what a jump lift is?
No.
Oh, yeah?
Like a material?
No. A jump lift's like... So what happens in typical towers is traditional methodology.
Yeah.
You put your entire steel structure, you put your facade, you build your roof. Weather-tight environment, your lift installers will step in to build a lift car.
Yeah.
Right? But what's the most important thing when you're building a building? Like, it's the quicker you move people, the quicker you move material, the quicker you build. It's not rocket science, right? So they have this really cool concept called a jump lift, where you put something called a temporary machine room up until where your facade is, right?
Yep.
So you can actually decommission your hoist and actually use your actual lift car, only the car without the whole lot. Use it as an internal hoist.
Yep.
Right, which means you then decommission the external hoist to then close the wall up with a facade, right? Which means you're then full floor fit out, which crashes your critical path completely, which is it's a beautiful concept. Yeah. So we actually introduced the jump lift concept, and it took us a while to actually work out what that jump lift is, on which floor do you put your temporary machine room. Yeah. Then if your facade catches up, then your facade races ahead of that. Now you got to jump your lift over, and you've got to do that cut over on a weekend, move the temporary machine room to the next level higher, reconnect it all up, recommission it, ready for Monday for the crews to start using it again, which is quite magical. It's a lot of fun. I genuinely enjoy that.
When I've talked to people who have looked to get into construction, whether I'm interviewing them or for a job, or just they've asked me, I'm thinking about getting in construction, I always say it's the best and the worst industry to be in. There are things that will absolutely drive you insane, and you hate it, and stress and long hours, and just pull your hair out. And then you'll have these moments of ultimate camaraderie on site or on a project where it feels like you've defeated, the project's been defeated because it was tricky and it was painful. It's just this. I don't think there's anything quite like it, the construction industry.
It is a crazy industry to be in, bro. 100%. I'll agree. Because when I started in construction, I almost quit. When I started at Auckland Airport, I almost quit there too.
You'd be forgiven for quitting at that project. That was, a lot of people did. It had a hugely high turnover. Yeah. And a lot of people couldn't take it, and a lot of people were sort of moved on, gently shoved along because they weren't helping.
Yeah, phase 3. Mate, that was like, what did they describe it as? It was trying to rebuild your bathroom while you're having a shower in it.
Yeah.
That's what they described Auckland Airport Phase 3 as.
Yeah.
It's quite challenging. It was a good job, though. Like, at the end of the day.
I, it's a great example of what I was saying, where it's both love and hate the construction industry, because it provided this environment where I was really able to upskill the team we had on site phenomenally, and then I got to be a part of organisations like ARA.
Oh yeah.
And really, like, I got to sort of stretch my wings out at Phase 3, but
Mate, that job made my career, by the way. It's just like yours. And when
I'm
job
sure it did. I learned a lot on that job. I learned a lot of how not to do things.
Yep. And
there was a lot of that.
Yeah. Yep. And how to maneuver your way around the weeds. And
how to navigate through things that you should not have to navigate through.
If it wasn't for that job, I don't know if I would have had the balls to start strategic planning, It gave me a certain confidence, which just got reinforced when I went to Combe.
Yeah.
Got further reinforced when I went on to my other project, and I just went, this. So I almost templatized it to a point, if that makes sense. Like, I was like, okay, I get this now. This is real simple. You got to start from a design, get to an estimate, get to a program, implement a methodology, right? Where does the methodology come from? It comes from the site teams. They know best. Don't fucking argue with them. Understand what they're saying, translate into lines on a piece of paper, articulate in a time frame. Fucking hard.
I also think that's where most of the innovation comes, is at the coal face.
Yeah.
Right? It's not, innovation doesn't come from a boardroom. It comes from those site teams. And it comes in the moments when they're able to relax and take a breath, right? Look at their work and go, I could do it better that way. You don't get that,
In a boardroom?
in a boardroom.
You probably don't get in a boardroom, mate.
So, Andy,
Yes.
your audience would be forgiven
Yeah.
for thinking that you were a full-time podcast host.
Really?
Right? Right?
Yes.
So,
Mate, I don't just sit here all day recording, right? I have a daytime job.
I get that. And I know. But tell us, why? Why did you decide to start a podcast?
Oh, yeah, okay. Crazy story. When I started strategic planning, right, it was in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I actually remember the day very clearly in my head too. It was, I think day one, I was looking at the news, COVID lockdown, Jacinda said, oh, we're shutting down the borders. Next day I turned the TV on, Jacinda says, oh, we're going to release a whole lot of construction work. And I said, the math in here. Like, how do you build projects when you shut the borders? And I'm like, prime opportunity, start the company. So started it, but then I had this real fear in me, mate. I was like, shit, I've now started the company. What if I don't get enough work? What if we go into another lockdown? I've got a mortgage to pay, I've got kids to take care of. And I started stressing. And I said, stressing is not going to help me right now. I actually need strategy. Yeah. So then I went to the board and I said, I started doing a whole heap of research about what successful companies do and whatnot. And I spent a few nights doing this. Like, when that level of fear is there, you do interesting things, man. Like, seriously, there's no limit to where you won't go. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was scary. But anyway, so then I ran to Stan. Yeah. So Stan from the Attention Seekers, and he was starting up the Attention Seekers. He was in his garage. I was in my garage. I'm still in my garage. He's got an office. Never mind. Cool success stories. I love that. But different businesses, of course. But so I really related with Stan, and just the first meeting that we had. And he started my social media thing, and he said, I'll take care of your LinkedIn brand, and we'll put you out there. And that was part of my core strategy. I was like, I need to be out there. So people can't see me, they can't engage me.
Yep.
So it all started out because I needed work. Yeah. Okay. Then I went, okay, I've got too much work now. What do I do? I've got the opposite problem. So I called Stan and I'm like, bro, I think you need to ease off on the posting for me, please. Because I have too much work now.
Yep.
I can't keep up, right? So all of that just disappeared. Like 1 month of posting, and I got a few clients. I was like, nah. He's like, nah, bro, carry on. You know, you could use this for a good purpose eventually. And then that kind of stuck with me. I went, okay, cool. Now there was just the attention seekers just putting pictures of me with my belief system, micro education on what project controls was, like bits and posts, all of that. That was all great. But I was like, nah, I think because I had access to like multiple different project sites, and I go onto all of these different project sites. But the thing I found was they all had the same problems.
Yep.
It's not like they had different problems. But the key thing was one company wouldn't share their problems on that particular project with the next company. Forget another company. Within the same company, two project teams wouldn't cross-share problems amongst themselves.
Yeah.
That's a common problem, eh?
Very common.
Yep.
Communication in general in construction is very siloed. Very siloed.
But I had the opportunity to go on multiple different sites, multiple different companies, right?
Yep.
And I said, you know what? I've got crazy access, which is unreal, right? So even if you just look at strategic planning, like we worked on, I think about 120 odd projects in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
In different capacities: tender planning, execution planning, change management, or delay dispute resolution. 100 to 120 odd projects with 40 odd companies. That's just in 4 years. It's insane, right? I mean, I don't go to a project and stay on there forever. We go on there to solve a specific problem, get in, get the fuck out as soon as you possibly can. That's the basic concept, right? So, then I met Stan for another cup of coffee, and I said, "Hey, man, like, what do you reckon? Like, should I start a podcast? Like, what does that look like? You know, is that something you can help me out with?" And I had multiple doubts. I had multiple questions. I said, "I don't know whether I'll be good in front of a camera. It's not like I'm the greatest looking dude on planet Earth either." Like,
you've got a very dapper suit, mate.
Oh, cheers, dude.
Very dapper suit.
Hey, because I was being interviewed, I made an effort today. Eh? I was like, no, gotta look the part. Yeah, and yeah, so Stan and team worked out a little strategy for me, and they said, yeah, cool, try this. And Connor was the main videographer. I remember that. Connor from the Attention Seekers.
Yep.
Shout out to you, bro. And he was the one who helped me with my first recording, right? And the Attention Seekers was just getting into the whole video era as well at that time. And I think I was their first podcast that they ever started. I think I'm not 100% sure on that, but I was the first ever podcast. Yeah, first ever podcast that the Attention Seekers did.
Nice.
And it was in this office, and they put up a sound barrier and a sign that says "Recording in progress. Please do not speak. Volume under control." Like, literally, there wasn't even room, bro. Like, we just put up like a barrier, and I said the first 5 guests, I'm not going to invite randos. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing in front of a camera.
Yeah.
You know, and it started because I wanted to influence positive change in construction. That was the main purpose of starting the podcast, right? I started identifying the key areas. Like, let's identify the key problems on construction sites.
Yep.
Let's help improve digital transformation in the construction industry.
Yep.
Okay. Let's focus on identify what the problems, the current forms of contracts that we have in. Yeah. How do we have better procurement models, right? But then digitalization being the biggest thing for me, obviously. I'm very passionate about that.
Yep.
You kind of know a little bit about it because you've been in one of my presentations. you know a little bit about how passionate I am about digitalization. But I'm also very passionate about influencing positive change in the construction industry and providing people a platform to share their stories, share the key challenges that they face in the entire industry. I don't think there's another platform that exists like that.
I think you're right. I think you're probably the one of the strongest voices in construction.
You reckon?
At the moment. Yeah, I do.
Cool. Appreciate that, man.
Do you think it's... So you've got a very, very strong voice through your podcast, but do you think it's working? Do you think you are influencing positive change in the industry?
Sometimes I wake up and I go, why the fuck am I doing this? I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
There are days I've had moments I'm like, this is a lot of effort and a lot of resources, time, money spent in actually producing these. And I've questioned, is it actually having an influence? I've asked the same question myself multiple times. I reckon yes, bro. Yes. I just recently got a message from another guy who said, hey, your podcast is amazing. You know what? After watching your podcast, I actually got into Python coding. A guy in construction, and
Yeah.
he said, now I'm like hardcore coding in Python, and I took your advice and using AI to code in Python. I was like, yo, that's awesome.
Nice.
That's legendary. But is it having a positive influence? I don't have any measures to quantify that.
Yeah.
But is it having an influence? Yes. I can quantify that by just saying I could possibly walk into most construction companies' office and somebody in that office will turn around and give me a weird look. And they turn around and go, hey, you're the guy that's always on LinkedIn. I'm like, yep, that would be me. Can we just get to the task at hand?
As one of your former guests,
Yes.
I've run into other guests and recognize some of your other guests.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Really cool.
Just, crossing part. The construction industry in New Zealand's quite
Really
small.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Really small.
It was interesting.
Yeah. Mate, it's there is a bit of reach, eh? So if I think I looked at the reach over a year the other day. Just on LinkedIn, my profile gets about 1 million impressions a year.
1 million a year.
And 80%
Just on which platform?
only on LinkedIn.
Only on LinkedIn.
Impressions, 1 million impressions a year. Most of that, about 80% of that from New Zealand.
You know any other numbers on your other? Because you're on multiple socials.
Yeah, I don't really care about the other platforms as much though.
LinkedIn's the business one, right?
It is,
Which is
yeah,
what you're
yeah.
primarily focused on.
TikTok's quite cool. Like I don't know why. I have no idea why I do really well on TikTok.
I think it's just the format. It's easy to absorb and huge audiences on TikTok. I don't
True.
use TikTok myself.
I don't know either, bro.
I'm aware. I probably should be.
Yeah, I know how to doom scroll. my skill set ends there. No, I got 10,000, 11,000 followers on TikTok for some odd reason. But I do get a lot of hate on Insta and on TikTok. If I say something controversial, there's a bunch of keyboard warriors that'll just go for gold out there. Right? They'll take it to town. I'm like, take it a notch down, guys. Please calm the fuck down.
And how are you funding the podcast?
Oh, I'm self-funding the whole podcast through strategic planning.
Self-funding.
Yeah.
Right.
For now, the entire marketing budget of strategic planning is dedicated towards producing this podcast. Okay. If anybody out there wants to sponsor the podcast, open to negotiating or discussing a partnership. I'd love some sponsors. That'd be amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for asking me that.
Also, guests, right?
Yes. We need good guests. Yeah. So when I say good, sorry, cut the part good out. That was really
we need guests.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm constantly on the lookout for guests. That's a constant thing. And what do I want to say? I lost my chain of thought.
People with something to share, with an improvement to discuss.
Yeah.
A unique perspective to share.
If you have a really cool story, you're passionate about digitalization, you just want to have sit and have a yarn about construction, I'm open to all of those, eh?
List the positive changes you want to make again, so that the
cool.
guests understand what, if they're a potential, so that a potential guest knows if they fit the bill.
Okay, so if you're in construction, you want to influence positive change in construction, you're passionate about construction digitalization, forms a contract in construction, want to discuss them, the challenges. If you believe the procurement model in New Zealand is broken, partially broken, or really good, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anything to do with construction, really. If that's the subject you're passionate about, hit us up. We'll sign you up to be a guest. I'd love to have a yarn. This is so much learning happening here.
The key is positive change to the industry, right?
Absolutely.
Positive change for the industry. So
that's what I'm passionate about, mate. Smarter, faster, better every day.
Give us some examples of some doors that have opened for you as a result of your podcast.
It's been really, really good. Like I get the opportunity to interview like amazing people in the industry. Yeah, it could be like Construction Minister Chris Pink, Mike King, who's now a golfing buddy as well.
Yep.
I like golf with him, which is quite cool. He actually got me into golf. And there's just like other projects. Like I've even gotten into projects because of the podcast. You know, which is I'm probably not going to name the projects, but I've gotten into a few projects because of the podcast. Like opened up crazy doors for me. But one interesting thing happened. One of my guests actually came up and said, "Hey, I'm actually looking for a job in the construction industry." And I know this guy's a really talented dude. And I said, "Hey, why don't you just jump on and come on as a guest and share your views and have a chat, see what happens." And he said, "Oh, great idea." But I said, "Don't make it into a sales pitch. Let's just have a really engaging conversation on how we uplift the industry."
Yep.
And boom, he came on the podcast, and then he called me 2 weeks later and said, "Hey man, I've got 3 job offers, bro." I went,
Nice.
"Whoa, really? That's cool."
Nice.
Wait, I wish I had your fucking hit rate. This is really good. Like, this is insane. Nah, so it's I don't think it's only helped me. Like, it really helps me learn more about what other people are doing in the industry.
Yeah.
But it also, we put that as content out, which helps the general public understand more about what's happening in the New Zealand construction industry, the challenges, the improvements we can possibly make. But it also helps the guests find jobs if they want, apparently.
And do you have a favorite episode?
Yes, I do, actually. Am I allowed to say that?
Why not? It's your podcast.
Well, I'm apparently a guest in my own podcast now, so...
It's not going to be this one.
I genuinely enjoyed 2 in specific. James Hunt.
Yeah.
Shout out to James. I hope you're doing
Smart
amazing
guy.
things.
Real smart guy.
Which one? James Hunt 1?
James Hunt 2, actually, more than 1. I didn't know what I was doing in James Hunt 1. He was my second episode. So I think James Hunt 2 is episode number 50 or 66, something like that. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
The one right before he
Went
to
off to
Australia.
Queensland Rail, yeah.
Mm.
And my second favorite one was Rainy Cellars.
Yeah.
And my
Rainy.
third, Rainy, oh man, Rainy.
Great mind.
Oh, insane. And my third favorite one would be the procurement panel that we actually set up, which I wore the same suit at, by the way. I remember.
Very nice.
You're right.
Positive change in the construction industry. One of your key drivers in your entire career. You've actually been working on a product that's called IBOQ that has the potential to do exactly that on quite a broad, like, an expansive way. What is IBOQ?
Yeah. So IBOQ is a way where you take a 3D model and you generate an entire estimate from the 3D model, partially using machine learning and just scripts that we've written to convert that into a full-blown estimate in an interactive way where you can click on all the steel and your model just isolates all the steel, tells you the quantum of the steel almost instantaneously.
Not
So-
the pricing, just
Not the pricing,
just the
quantities.
measured quantities.
Yeah. So IBOQ could be a bit of a misleading term. We should call it ISOQ maybe.
Yeah.
What is this?
BOQ works.
BOQ works. Yeah, scheduler quantities or bill of quantities. So it's an interactive bill of quantity. That's where it kind of comes from.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of a thought process as to how we got there, right? I know we spoke about controls and planning and my passion for the industry and all the problems that we ran into Conway and Auckland Airport and all the other projects that you look at. This entire product is born out of pain. Lived pain
Yeah.
on multiple projects.
The combination of all of your trauma
Yes.
boiled down into a piece of software.
Not fully a software yet. It's still a service.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to completely productize it, but we can run it because we know the human in the loop checks that need to happen. It's just a bit of mission training somebody else on the human in the loop checks that need to happen because immediately you tell somebody, oh, I can take a 3D model and I can give you an estimate. Oh, but then the 3D model's always wrong. I'm like, mate, like, how the fuck do you know your design's right? Your 2D design's right? Like, you don't. So
I think it's healthy to question
100%.
the 3D model.
100%.
But
Not arguing
you
that
have,
at all.
You have to have some sort of foundational data set somewhere. And if it's not the 3D model, then what is it?
Your 2D drawings, which is version controlled,
But
just signed off.
what are they based off of?
Yeah, a
the
vision.
3D model.
Not really though. A lot of people actually start designing in 2D and then convert to 3D. And I reckon that shift is happening in the industry where people starting to design in 3D and then just convert the 3D models to 2D. And the shift in AI is actually making that possible, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the whole IBOQ, man, like you think about it, right? It's also breaking down silos within a construction company.
Yeah.
Your estimating team, who then hand off information to your QSing team, who then go out and collate prices. Then there's your independent planning team that look at the same set of drawings and create a work breakdown structure that has nothing to do with the estimate, nothing to do with what the QS is doing. They have a different cost breakdown structure. You have the planner has a different work breakdown structure. So your time and your cost information don't actually interrelate. Like how many times have you seen this? Like all the time? Like that's 99.99% of projects in New Zealand right now, right?
Yeah.
But what if? Here's like a crazy view, right? Like, okay, I think about this all the time. Take the 3D model, you convert it into an estimate, right? What we can do is we can convert that estimate into an XER file or an MPP file, just like that, automatically,
Yeah.
using basic Python scripting.
With your task list ready to go on your MPP file.
Because think about it, what is a task list, right? It is a verb and a noun. You've got your noun in the estimate, steel. All I have to do is now install steel.
Yep.
Right? But then your estimates also got the quantities. If you do a piece count, because you need to know the piece count, the number of steel you got to install, because you're governed by hook time. So say hypothetically you can install 8 pieces of steel with a crane. Yep. So if I have 80 pieces of steel, how many days is it going to take me to install? It's all math, that's all I'm saying, right?
And how fast can you turn around from a 3D model, from receiving a 3D model?
Yeah.
How fast can you turn around that BOQ and MPP file?
1 day. 24 hours. 24 hours with the human in the loop checks. If we didn't have the human in the loop checks, lot quicker. Yeah. Lot quicker.
But the human checks are necessary, right?
Oh, mate, they're absolutely mandatory.
So why should
Qualities
people
involved.
have faith in your in the outputs from a BOQ?
So the outputs are only as good as a 3D model, right? Okay, so if you say you have a massing drawing and you say, give me a full takeoff of that, I'm going to go, bro, like GIGO, garbage in, garbage out, right? So you need to have a decent 3D model to even be able to do a takeoff. But I'll tell you why, yeah? Why is because we index the information, what that allows you to do is it goes, every time you get an uprevved version of the model, yeah. Click of a button. You remember what I said in the beginning of my interview? What do I care about? Who does what, where, when, and how much of it?
Yep.
With an uprevved 3D model, I'll tell you what changes occurred, where the changes occurred, and how much. So I'm already answering 3 of those 5 important questions with an uprevved model with a click of a button. Isn't that magical? Like in my mind, it's magical. Like it's beautiful. Index 3D, and imagine version after version after version. So what does that mean? So now, if you want to process an EOT, you're comparing a baseline version of the model to the updated version of the model to then quantify and qualify your change.
Yeah.
You're not sitting and going, I need to estimate what's changed and have an argument with the PQS and go back to the engineer, to the contract and say, here is my claim, you know? And then that goes on for weeks and months, and then you get the legal team involved. Like, you can resolve this very, very quickly. Effective change management. I'm very passionate about it.
Yeah.
We in New Zealand, we suck at change management.
We could certainly use some improvement.
Some improvement plan? Is that you being a little modest? I'm not sure. Like, are you taking the piss or are you being genuine here? Some improvement? I reckon we need a quantum leap, mate.
We do. We're there's a lot of as I said earlier, there's too much silos of comms, and there's no interaction between those silos. So, you know, for instance, it's I think it's rare on a tender team for a programmer to spend a lot of time making sure that their task list on their program coincides with the schedule of quantities that has been done by the estimation team. And I think in many companies, at least in New Zealand, the program's probably written in a New Zealand office, while the schedule of quantities is produced offshore.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know the IBOQ is like a bit of a stretch, right? So I'm turning around and saying, hey, have absolute faith that we generate a full estimate for you with a 3D model, and like the uptake isn't like great. New Zealand still doesn't get it fully yet, and that's okay. We're working on a really, really cool plan, mate. Really cool plan. You know, like you said, you get the estimate done wherever, and then your program's written in house.
Yep.
So we're actually working on a suite of what we're calling stage one applications, web apps. That's just going to go right. Take your estimate, just convert it into the format that we give you, and boom, out pops an XCR file or an MPP file that you can then start actually implementing your methodology from. You know, so we're releasing a boatload of these mini apps that's going to really, really add value to the industry.
Yeah.
I was working on that this morning, actually. Sure. Yeah.
And so
I'm not giving away too much.
the
So
MPP file will come with the logic preloaded?
No.
No?
It's for now, it's tasks
Just the task list
and durations.
and durations.
Yeah, and the resource loaded to it, not the quantum of what you've got to deliver. 20 pieces of steel, 30 cubic meters of concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah. So provided the columns that we provide are filled in. So ideally, so it's like, you know, take the whole IBOQ, right? That's exactly what we're doing with the IBOQ. This is just a subset of information that we're producing. It's a 3D model to estimate, from estimate to XCR file. What I'm saying is, right, the industry may not want to take the full suite solution. I'm just saying, right, you're already preparing an estimate, which you're already doing. Yep. Take that estimate, put it in this format, pump it in. You get an XCR file or an MPP file just to start putting your logic links in. We're not at logic links yet, but I don't think we're far away, by the way.
Yeah. I know you're still working on developing it further.
Yeah.
Who's best placed to use IBOQ?
Commercial managers, estimators. So estimators think we're the worst enemy, right? That's so untrue.
Well,
I'm saying become early adopters of it.
I've heard the criticism from estimators is that, like I said earlier, why should we trust the machine to produce quality results? That doesn't ring fair to me, because most of us are getting, a grad or a cadet or one of the junior estimators to write out that task list and measure out the quantities anyway. So there's a human review afterwards. You said you're doing a human review afterwards.
Absolutely mandatory.
How is that not the same? It's just, rather than it taking 2 weeks for it to be produced.
Or 4 weeks. Yeah. So I encourage every single estimator out there to go, mate, become an early adopter. Become the human in the loop check. Help us develop it. Grow with us. And I'm actually looking for a partner to just grow with us, and an estimator who's willing to work with us. We actually have one estimator who's working with us. He's really great. He's actually one of our previous guests as well, Daniel Small from Elemental QS. Great guy. Like he's given us some really cool pointers as well, which we've incorporated. We'll listen to him,
Yeah.
And he wants to use the IBOQ on his projects, which is like quite exciting, right? He sees the vision, he sees the future.
I mean, tender's a stressful time, right?
Yeah.
Tender, you never have enough time to
Yep.
put together the perfect submission. It's
But
always a
think about
rush.
this though. Imagine, and it's a stressful time and you have 4 week period, right?
Yeah.
Imagine on day one, you had a full interactive estimate and you had a task list
And
and
a task
MPP
list on your MVP. Yeah.
with durations preloaded.
yeah.
Day
just-
one.
Just insane.
Yep.
Just
How much?
insane.
Forget the time, Blair. How much money would that save you as a construction company?
Well, not just money too, but with the MPP file, being able to start that much earlier means we all know that a good program that you've spent time on gives you invaluable insights onto whether or not the project makes sense, whether or not your delivery is going to land at the right time, whether you're staging sequencing or how the puzzle fits together whether it makes sense, whether you need to double resources at a particular time. There's so many insights that program can give you. If you can start working on that on day one,
End of day one,
you're going to win that tender.
Yeah, we're doing a lot more with it, but I'm not going to reveal too much now. I'll drop a little hint. It's called N8N. If anybody knows what that is, best of luck. If you don't know what that is, Google it.
So you're going to continue developing IBO.
Not going to stop, bro. Not going to stop for anything.
Until it's basically a full...
There's a vision. I want to wake up one morning, Blair. I want to grab a 3D model. I want to go press play, go away, make a cup of coffee, go out to my deck, soak in some sun, come back to my desk and go, right, I've got a full program, 4D simulated. That means I'm talking estimate, programs written, those tasks are already linked to the 3D objects, and that's running a simulation, right? A document written for me on the methodology, and I'd go, run the simulation and go, something doesn't look right. Make the alteration, press play again, go back out, finish my cup of coffee, soak the sun, come back in. I'll have a full tender submission ready for me.
So I have a hypothetical for you.
Go on.
In the construction industry at the moment, currently, the main contractors produce the program using their own logic, usually using their own stage sequencing that they're proposing to achieve the outcomes that the client wants in their RFP. What's stopping the principal, the client, from actually developing some of that? That they're the first to see the 3D model anyway. I mean, it's only on PDFs that they see the drawing, they see the renders. But in the background of that is the 3D model, 100%. Usually. What's stopping them from...
Nothing. So the techware development is actually way more valuable for principals and for clients than it'll ever be for main contractors. I'll tell you the reason why.
That would be a
game changer.
Far more quantum leap for the industry than the main contractors taking it on.
So if a client takes it on, right, I'll tell you how it'll benefit a client, right? So I may come back into the project manager's world a little bit here, but just work with me, right? Client says, okay, I have $100 million. I'm going to build this. Cool. Get the design done. Cool. What do they do next? They go engage a project management company. What do they do? They go get a PQS to do a takeoff and whatnot to basically estimate it. But then
plan it to do a... Well, no, they wouldn't.
They don't.
They wouldn't never
they
go
don't.
to a planner for it.
Not at that stage. So then that PQS's estimate goes nowhere. It just sits in somebody's Excel file in some drive somewhere. Somebody's looked at it and said, "Oh, it's going to cost you $120 million now, not $100 million."
Yeah.
Then the 2D drawings now get packaged up, get put into either Get, so one of those platforms, and get out into the ether. Only 2D drawings, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's the problem, right? The 2D drawings get issued. This is the problem I have with the procurement model that we've got in place right now.
Yeah.
Okay. The 2D drawings now get interpreted by 5 different construction companies differently. Each one of them will work out their version of a work breakdown structure and their version of a cost breakdown structure. And you don't actually have an estimate sheet that's actually linked back to a design that's actually provided in your tender pack. So what does that mean? You get 5 versions of cost, estimate, program, methodology. Okay? So now you're paying some guy at a project management company to reconcile all of that. You're comparing apples to oranges to mangoes.
Yeah.
You're not even comparing apples to its closest cousin, mate. Like, this is mental.
Yeah.
All right? But what if the client started with a base set of information, which is from the 3D model, where you provided a detailed estimate in, say, ICMS, International Cost Management Standards, for everybody to price, which is indexed back in every line item you can actually trace back, which is then linked back to a program as well.
What I like about that is with the program, you're then able to assess your tenderer's logic.
100%.
The logic and their the resource commitment they're making.
Absolutely.
Sense check that
So all I have to do
It presents a
is
lot of power
huge.
in assessing the quality of submission for the principal.
Collated, right? So I have five now versions of submissions. So somebody in one of those versions say, "Oh no, you know what? We're going to use a Docker formwork system here, and we're going to fast track this entire process. It's a sacrificial formwork, whatever." Like I don't, yeah, cool, great. How much time have you saved? Why haven't the others used it?
Yeah.
You know, now I'll have the ability to just go bang, 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 cross compare the five, and go right. This is what's changed by this contractor. He's probably the best methodology because he understands the bill. You very quickly pick up on that, eh?
Yeah.
Very, very quickly pick up on it.
Yeah.
It's insane. So 100%, it's way more beneficial for clients, but I can't get to the clients just yet. Just yet. We're ready. Like if there's a client out there that wants to give it a go, mate, give us a call. We'll be more than happy to give it a go and help you fast track your entire procurement process, save you a boatload of money in the process.
And we all know, the more you plan the project, the more likely it is to be successful.
Prior planning
On
prevents
time,
piss poor
on
performance.
budget,
Yep.
right?
6 P's, mate.
So,
Yeah. No brainer. Absolutely no brainer.
yeah. In the meantime, until principals wake up,
They will. They will.
main contractors, what's... Forgotten what I was going to ask.
I'm not sure.
What have I missed? It's your product.
We'll save them 15 minutes overtime.
What's the cost of the product?
Yeah.
How much does it cost?
So how much should a main contractor expect to be charged to use your services for IBOQ?
We typically charge anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 to run a full estimate, which we believe is 25% cost off. This is how we estimate it. It's 25% of the cost of what it would cost you to estimate the job, which we figured is anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000, nothing more than that, and that'll depend on the quality of the 3D model.
Yeah.
So you're
Size
getting a full, and size of the project as well. Like I can't turn around and say that's what we charge everybody, but I'm just giving you a bracket range for, say, a 5-story building, say a retirement village, which has a detailed 3D model, anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000.
And so from a program perspective, how does that stack up against what you normally charge for your team to produce, a detailed program?
The detail, our detailed program is very different. We don't typically produce it like most of the planners out there. We have a very set methodology. It's science. There's no guesswork in our process.
Yeah.
So we charge about 10 grand-ish to produce a full program, a full written, what we call a basis of program, production rates, an estimate taken off for planning purposes, with a full written methodology. It's about 10 grand, 10 to 15 grand, depends.
And you can do both, right?
Yeah. So if we engage for the IBOQ services, which is pretty simple, I just get the 3D model converted to an estimate task list. But that's what I'm saying is about 5-10 grand. Then there's still the methodology aspect that comes afterwards. That's a manual thing that we do, and the writing of the basis of program, the methodology they submit. See, yeah.
Cool.
Is that cheap or expensive? I don't know. I mean,
It
that's
sounds
all
like value for money for me. Based on what I know, it costs tenders in general for large projects.
Yeah.
You're not targeting tier 3 and below.
Nah.
You're not targeting residential projects.
I would love to target residential projects. They've got really good 3D models, some of them, but eventually we'll get there.
How would you make that work though? Because it's not. I'm not sure they'd have the budget.
Yeah, I'm not going to charge them 5 to 10 grand. They have to take an estimate anyways, right?
Yeah.
Cost them something to take an estimate. 25% of whatever you're paying for your estimate is what we will charge you to do an IBOQ. Just bracket that 25%. If somebody's doing it manually and he's going to charge you 10 grand for it, I'll do it for 2,500. Bargain.
Or as our politicians like to say, value for money.
Value for money.
So before I hand the reins back to you to do your special outro,
Oh, yeah.
I've found this really informative.
Oh, cool.
I'm hoping your audience has as well. Hope I've done a favour to people out there to learn a little bit about Andy. Yeah, thanks.
Mate, massive thanks to you for coming on and just interviewing me. Like, it's interesting being interviewed on your own podcast. You know what I mean? Almost felt kind of sense of loss of control there. I don't know how I felt about
This is the
that.
third time, right?
Third time you're coming on my podcast, but
No,
this is the
third time someone's interviewed you.
when was the first two?
Bridget.
Oh,
And
yeah, Bridget did. Yeah.
Bridget did. And James Hunt.
James Hunt? Nah,
Yeah.
James Hunt asked me one question.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't a full episode. And the whole Bridget episode, I'd fucked up. I slipped.
I
No,
know.
long story.
I watched it. It was funny.
It's
It
funny.
was a funny episode.
Nah, this is the first time I'm like seriously intentionally getting interviewed on my own podcast. So the loss of control is like I'm just like so I'm a little uneasy here. This is my podcast. I'm losing control. Nah, it's really good, man. Really good. Like appreciate you kind of digging into my past and helping people understand who I am, what I do, and product. And really
Happy
appreciate
to do
it.
it. Happy
Yeah.
to do it.
All right, mate. And thank you for making the time. You're a fucking legend. Thank you.
Anytime.